On episode 308 of the podcast, we talk about virtual summits and how they are a powerful tool for expanding your reach, growing your email list, making immediate revenue, and increasing sales both short and long term. Then we also give you some very practical tips on how you can get started hosting your first summit without being overwhelmed. What's up, friend? I am Ryan Corl from Studio Sherpas, and this is the Grow Your Video Business podcast, the only show. Just kidding. Maybe it is the only show. I don't think it's the only show. I know for a fact it's not, because I've been on other people's show. But this is a show for corporate and commercial filmmakers where we talk about the business of production. We talk about sales, talk about marketing, we talk about operations, just all of the things that make your business hum, that hopefully make it hum and not chunk along. I've been in this business for 18 years. I've built a 7-figure video production business. I've learned a lot, and I am glad that you're here. There is an incredible community of people here in the world of Studio Sherpas. This brand, the Studio Sherpas brand, has been around for 6 years, and we literally have thousands of people from around the world that listen to the show, that are part of our Facebook group, that come to our in-person events, and it is an incredible community of people that are rooting for others inside of this industry. We believe in community over competition, and I'm really excited that you are here. One thing I want you to know before we jump into the show is that applications right now are open for the Studio Sherpas Mastermind. If you have no idea what a mastermind is, I will say that being a part of masterminds over the past bunch of years has changed the trajectory of my business. It has helped me be able to ask hard questions, be totally honest and vulnerable with other business owners, with other people that have my best interest in mind. If you're at a spot in your business where maybe you've been in business for a couple of years and you're looking for a board of advisors, people that are in the video business industry, people that might be 1 or 2 steps ahead of you, and also people that might be 1 or 2 steps behind you, but really are trying to build a sustainable business that have a good desire to be helpful, to be able to serve other people, but aren't afraid to lay it all out there and ask for help and advice, and aren't afraid to be challenged, aren't afraid to be coached. If that sounds like you and you're looking for something new in 2023, something that could help you in your business journey, I want to invite you to apply for the Studio Sherpas Mastermind. It's 12 people. When we've got 12 people signed up, we're not taking any more people, but you can learn more about the mastermind by going to studiosherpas.com/mastermind. We're going to be taking applications. You can read all about the mastermind there. You can apply if you're interested, and you can learn more about the pricing, the structure, the format. We're starting in January, and we're going to meet twice a month, and we're going to meet for 5 months, and then the mastermind will be over, and we'll restart it back up in the middle of the year, and allow the people that were in the group, if it was a good fit, for them to continue and take any new members if there's any open spots. So we're starting that in January, but get your applications in now if you think that might be something of interest for you. I wouldn't be talking about it. I wouldn't be hosting one. I wouldn't be in 2. I pay as a member in 2, and I host one for our Studio Sherpas community because I believe in what they've done for my own business, and I see the life change and the business change and the people that are a part of them. So that's why I'm talking about it. That's why I'm promoting it. That's why I'm hosting it. So would love to see you inside. If that's something that you think might be a good fit for you, you can get information at studiosherpas.com/mastermind. Now, let me blow your mind with this awesome episode with Krista Miller, all about virtual summits and why you might consider hosting a virtual summit for quite a few different reasons. So let's roll the tape, and here we go. All right. What's up, friends? Hey, welcome to this episode. I'm so happy that you're here. I am super excited about our guest. I have with us today Krista Miller, who is the founder of Summit in a Box. And you might be like, what in the world is Summit in a Box? Well, guess what? That's what we're going to be talking about. She teaches virtual summits. In a sense, I think she's sort of like a master in this arena. I've been following her for years at this point. I was telling her right before we started here, she's one of the few people who have denied me for a podcast interview, but she did have a really good reason. She was like pregnant or just had a baby or something, something like that. But she's here 2 years later. Krista, welcome to the show. You're welcome for that incredible, epic intro.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm pumped. This is going to be fun. I can already tell it's going to be a blast.
Oh, man. So for those of us who are like, what the heck? What is a summit? What even is that? Now, I will say I host an in-person event that is called the Onward Summit. It's for filmmakers. We just had it last month right here in this space. So I think some people would be familiar with like, oh, okay, like Ryan's Summit. Does it have anything to do with that? Tell us a little bit more. Summit in a Box. What would you say you do here?
Yeah. So, I mean, I would be able to compare it a lot to in-person events. Like the goal of a virtual summit is to bring together a group of people and give them a great experience and a great transformation, bring together a group of experts, generally speaking, and host an event about a certain topic. But specifically with the types of virtual summits I teach, they are large-scale events, usually hosted by one person, sometimes co-hosted, but based around a topic that your business is involved with. So you're bringing in experts who maybe like talk about topics that kind of offshoot from the things you teach, but have your same audience so that you can all promote this really great event, attract an awesome audience and give them a great experience. I teach free summits, so tickets are free, and then there's an upgrade option on the back end. And we have all kinds of ways that we can build in to lead people to your services and offers and all of that good stuff. So it's a great way to just build connections in the space, build community, build an audience, and sell more of your stuff.
I love it. What would you say? I mean, what's the biggest difference between like that and like a Zoom webinar? Or is there a difference?
I mean, to me, there is. I mean, people I know use the term summit more loosely, but the way I would use it is usually a virtual summit is a multi-day event. There are some people who focus on one-day summits.
Sure.
For me, if I'm going to go through the work of putting together an event, I'm going to make it good. I'm going to make it a couple days long. A lot of times with the summit, you get a big influx of people on the first day. So I like to have extra days for them to then engage. And you're going to have a bigger group of speakers. I typically suggest at least 15 for the model that I teach. There are people that have 40 and beyond. My sweet spot is kind of like 25. But a larger group of speakers over multiple days is kind of the difference between that and a webinar. I also usually encourage people, at least for their first time, to do it pre-recorded so they don't have to worry about like, is this person going to show up? If they don't show up, what am I going to do? What if they can't get into like the Zoom room or whatever it is, like it just relieves a whole bunch of pressure, at least for the first run of the event where the host is still kind of getting their feet wet with everything and seeing how it all works.
Yeah, that's so good. Yeah, the pre-recorded. That is a good idea. And even I've gone live, I don't know how many hundreds of times. It's great when I go live now and something doesn't work because people are like, man, you just seem so calm and cool. And it's like, yeah, because I've done it enough times. I've messed up. It's broken enough times. It's just kind of like, I'm just waiting for it to happen. Like, what is going to go wrong? And then we'll do our best to fix it.
Right, exactly. You almost expect it to go wrong.
Yeah.
I started like having like recordings of whatever I want to do whenever I do something live. Cause like, I feel like every time I have some big live thing scheduled, I end up sick or the power is out or something. So I just always want to have a backup to send anyways.
What you mentioned, hosting a great event, like what? Because again, like when people think about a webinar or anything's online, it can feel the same, and it can feel just in it. And then, man, you're talking about 15 presentations or 25. Like, what makes that, or what makes that a great event?
Ooh, that's a good question. I'm gonna see if I can organize all my thoughts here. I would say like the first thing that goes into it is actually having a point to your event. the past couple years, virtual events have exploded, obviously. Yeah. And because of that, like, you have to stand out for anyone to want to go to it, which means you can't, like, the example I always use, you can't host a summit of teaching online business owners to grow their business. Like, that's just not going to work. And there has to be a point. It has to be for a specific group of people and actually help them move closer to a goal they have. Like, that is step one and the biggest thing you can do, because that's going to catch people's attention and get them engaged. When they're engaged, that is like the second part of a quote unquote great event, because when they're engaged, they're having fun, they're actually interacting, they're taking part in the event, watching the presentations, learning, and wanting to take it further. Our events always have some kind of community aspect. For me, that's usually a Facebook group, just because my audience knows how to use Facebook and I don't want them to have to learn something else. So like a community where they can come together, celebrate little things, give speakers a shout out. We play like random games, like bingo, as cheesy as that sounds, is a big hit because people love winning prizes, and I've just bribed them to do the things that I want them to do throughout the summit. But things like that, like just making sure they're going to want to be engaged and making it fun for them where you can, all come together to make a really great event. And, I would also put the quality and experience of it as well. And, talking to the video guy, I think the video quality can be a big factor in it. When I work with people who target like B2C, business to consumer audiences, a lot of times their speakers aren't as familiar with like, how do I make a presentation? Like, you want me to do what? Which can end up in garbage. Like, it can be not pretty. So that can also be a part of what makes an event a positive experience for people as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, those are all really good. And I would say audio, like more so than video. Like, if your audio isn't good, because there's so many like podcasts that I don't need to watch the video. Even courses that I buy, a lot of times I'm not watching them, I'm listening to them. So if you're sticking me with some crappy audio, man, I'm tapping out real soon.
Agreed. And I have started encouraging our clients and students, because it's so easy now to just have audio versions available of all of the presentations, because you'll way increase how many people are able to go through everything.
Yeah. When did you do your first event, and like what industry were you in? Because I'm assuming you weren't like all of a sudden like, hey, I'm going to like teach people how to create summits, and I haven't done one, so I'm going to do my first one and teach them.
I'm a master.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hosted my first summit in 2018. I was a WordPress developer for designers. Yeah. So I hosted a summit for designers to help them simplify their business. And, I was the answer. Mm-hmm. I'm going to do your development and make your business simple. It worked. So yeah, I was doing it for designers. And
tell me a little bit, like, how did it go? Like, how did you measure success?
Yeah. So, my goal going into this event was, like, at the time I had been landing clients like as I needed them. I would wrap up a project and be like, oh dang, where am I going to get this next client? I need to make money. And like someone would magically fall in my lap. It's like, wonderful, great. Mm-hmm. But I was like, this is also exhausting, getting to the end of the project, being like, where is this next client coming from? And my answer was to do something that was going to get me in front of more people and grow my email list. Because up to that point, I was like doing all the things you're supposed to be doing. And just like, I just felt like I was growing at a snail's pace. It had been three and a half years, and I had like 400, 500 people on my email list. It's like, that's a lot of work for not a huge list. I want to do something bigger. And I had seen people hosting summits. So like that, at that time period, summits were kind of on the rise, but they were being done by all like the really, really big name influencers. Yeah. So I was like, little old me thinks they're going to host a summit. People are going to laugh. When I literally had a dream of people I was pitching laughing at their computer screen. So my goal going into this was literally like 200 or 300 people signed up, maybe. Yeah. Wow. And a couple $1,000s. That's all I wanted. Because I was like, at least then some more people will know who I am. Yeah. But we hosted this first event, and it brought in 1,500 people and $16,000 and booked my services for 6 months.
Oh my gosh.
And I was like, oh, okay. Like if I was making like $3,000 a month at the time. Yeah. Making $16K at once literally blew my mind and changed my life. Like that was like, I know that's really dramatic sounding, but that's what it was. Yeah. Like I would have never imagined that. I didn't think it was possible. I was like, oh, this works. So my goal from there was just to go keep hosting more summits for that business. I had no plans of starting to teach it, but other people had ideas. When you do something really well and they're like, can you teach me how to do that?
Yeah.
Like, can you teach me how to make videos like that? So that's kind of how it started to evolve after that.
Man, I love that. That's pretty cool. That's like almost 6 months, like a half year of your salary that you just made in one day, and you're like, oh my gosh, that is that's so cool. So we're a service-based business. We have a video production company. We work with clients. We have that same struggle of like, especially the solopreneurs and the freelancers, that it's just them. So they're out shooting, and then they're editing, and they're working their butt off to hit the deadline, and then they get done and they're like, oh, finally. And then it's like, oh wait, I haven't had a discovery call in like 2 months since this project started, and now I got to work on marketing, and it takes 6 weeks to find the next client, and that is just a really crappy way to live. It's a really hard way to build a business that's not sustainable. That's why so many people that start in video get out, because it's just too hard, which is why I was so excited to have you come on, because I think that there is something here for a filmmaker to say, maybe I should consider a summit. If I could grow my email list, and if I could get in front of more of the kind of people that would hire me. So I'm not saying we're not talking about launching necessarily. We're not talking about launching a summit for filmmakers, unless that is your audience, right? Which is kind of why you guys listen to the show, because you're the audience here. But more like, who's your end client? How do we do a summit? So as a service-based company, like a video company, what kind of summit could I host that would help me get some clients, that would help me build not a list of like, filmmakers, because that's not who I'm going after, dentists, or I'm going after lawyers, or like whoever it is that I'm going after.
Yeah, I love that. I love those examples you just threw in at the end too. So the way you want to think about it is start by looking at, why do people hire you? Like, who hires you and why do they do it? And then how can you, I think usually for this audience, if you're a filmmaker, I think usually for you, it's going to be like, how can you kind of build on that a little bit? So like, if it's, let's say, a dentist who, they usually work with you so that they have, awesome videos that help them grow their business. Can you host an event to help them do that on a larger scale? What other things do they need to do to grow their business? How can you help those specific people? And in attracting them to your summit, they're going to be learning other things. There will be people who are like, oh, this thing the speaker is teaching, like, I need that. Like, I'm going to go in that direction. But in attracting hundreds or thousands of people, odds are you're going to get some people who realize they need what you do as well. And throughout your summit, you also have the opportunity to really position yourself as that expert, put the film work you do like front and center, so that it's like on everyone's mind. No one's leaving that summit not having realized like, oh, I should have, videos in my business for these different reasons. People won't be ready to book right away, but they're going to be on your email list, and there will be some who are ready to book right away. And like, that's what I saw. Like I said, my business was to help, I did development for designers. I hosted a wider summit to help show them different ways to simplify their business. At the end, I was booked out for 6 months, and now I have 1,500 additional people who I was able to communicate with. I don't mind writing emails on a consistent basis, so I would send just kind of fun little teaching update newsletters every week. And like, I did not have to worry about clients a whole lot after that, because they were all there. They became ready to book at different times. And I think that's also a really great part about a service-based business is you don't need 100 people to buy your thing all at one time,
right,
to hit your goals. Right? Like, that would probably be awful.
Oh my gosh.
In most cases for a service-based business, you just need a couple here and there to fill the client schedule you have set. And when a summit is bringing in hundreds or thousands of people, they're going to be ready at different times and can just kind of keep filling your calendar in. So start with who your audience is. Some of you might need to kind of choose a narrower audience for your summit. So if you produce videos for a wider audience, maybe you identify a subset of that audience you're going to host a summit for. Like for my business, I teach virtual summits to basically all online business owners, which is a terrible audience for a summit. So we host different editions of it. Right now I'm preparing Course Creator Edition, which is still pretty broad, but we've hosted Course Creator, Membership, Site Owner, Podcaster Edition, Speaker Edition, and you can do that kind of thing if you have a wider audience as well. But when you get specific like that, then you're able to speak more directly to them in all aspects of your messaging. And another really great thing about it is you're able to get speakers who will have more targeted audiences. So again, using the dentist example, you could get speakers who target dentists, which means your conversion rates are going to be higher across the board, and you can be more confident in the fact that they will bring the kind of people you want to be getting in front of. And again, if you do have that wider audience, you could even make like a special package or special service offering just for them that you present after the summit. That's going to catch their attention even more, and you're able to do that because it is for a more specific audience. I just talked for a really long time.
No,
so
that's great.
There was some good stuff in there.
That's really good. One thing I keep talking about the importance of having an email list, and somebody that's new in the video business is kind of like real excited about shooting and editing and telling better stories and all of that stuff. And yes, that's good, and you need to like continue that. But as you build a business, your email list is one of the only things that you will always have. And so if you can start a relationship with somebody, not Instagram, that's fine. If you get a ton of followers, that's good, and that can be very good for your business, and you can get clients that way. But as you do things like, I'm going to host a summit, or I'm going to create, a lead magnet and let people download a PDF and the 3 things that they should be doing in their next video or whatever that is, and getting people to your website, onto your email list so that you can nurture them, start this relationship, ask them like, what problems do you have? Like when it comes to video, like why are you considering it, or why aren't you considering it? How can I help you? Asking the people that are interested in you, interested enough for them to give you their email address. So exactly what Krista is saying, like, if you did a summit and you got 100 people's email addresses and 0 people called you within the next 30 days to do a video, it's not a bust. I mean, I have people who have been on my list for the last 10 years in this business, and some people hired us early on. Some people are just now hiring us. I mean, it took them 10 years. But the idea is that you stay top of mind, and it's hard to stay on top of mind when you're on Instagram or Facebook, when there's an algorithm that's controlling all of that. It's much easier when you send an email and you let people know, hey, here's our most recent client. This is what success they got. This is what we're up to. Like when you're doing that, like people check their email. Like there's no hiding it unless it's like going to spam. So Krista, thank you for bringing that part up. I just don't want that to go unnoticed, that growing an email list is such a great way to start a relationship with somebody. And as creatives, we don't want to ever come across as salesy. And we don't want to force a sale. Like that's just awkward. That's not who we are. That's not who we want to be. So starting a relationship with somebody is the best way to like ease them into understanding how you might be able to help them. Because if they realize like, wow, I think based on what you're saying, based on how you help that person, or what I'm hearing you say, like, or what I saw you teach, like, I think you could help me. Oh, wow. If somebody's coming to me saying that, I think you might be able to help me, that means I don't have to convince them of anything, right? I just need to like share what we do and how we help, and ask a lot of questions to find out, well, what are your problems? Like what? So now I'm talking a lot, but I just don't want that to go unnoticed. And I just think it's such a very important part in the bigger picture of your business, that is really the sustainability is what I want you to have. Not like success this year or next year. I mean, I do want that, but I want you 5 years from now, 10 years from now, for this thing to just like build like a snowball that starts at the top of a mountain. I don't think that's how the analogy goes, but it starts out real small, starts rolling down, and it's massive. That's the kind of, I want you to be a massive snowball.
That's the dream. That is the dream right there, to end up as a massive snowball.
Oh, okay. So let's say, Krista, I'm a video company. No, I am a video company. Let's say my target audience are designers, web designers, right? That's kind of your niche specialty. Which actually, when I first found you, I did see your web work, and I was like, dang, like she's really good. So kudos. So let's just say you're my target. Okay, I want to do a summit, and I'm going to target designers because I know that every web designer out there is competing, and it's all the same. Right? Like they all charge about the same. The work, it's all good. So Krista, how do you set yourself apart? Well, let me tell you, if you have a video that really shares the story, the heart and soul of who you are, why you started this work, what you care about, how you take care of your clients, what success you've been able to help get your clients, you need that. You need that front and center on your website. You need, on your social, you need people to see your story because that's going to become one of your biggest differentiators. So that's my approach. I've heard this other woman named Krista say that I should do a summit and I could target designers. Who else should I can come on and I can teach some things of like, here's how to be telling your story. Like you can do it with your iPhone or your webcam or whatever. Here's how you should be telling your story. If you don't have enough money to hire a professional, these are the 3 components that you should have when you're telling your story for video so that people understand why they might want to hire you versus this designer over here. Okay, that's not 15 sessions for a summit. So help us understand what are some other things that we can start thinking about, like who might be a good fit for having speak and be a part of the summit.
Yeah, I think like for a summit like that, and I think this would apply to a lot of niches, I think it would be cool to have like themes of ways you're helping them. So the video is helping you stand out from these other designers by really effectively showing you and your process and how you're different and building trust in that way. Like you could build a day around like building trust through video.
Ooh.
Now, you probably wouldn't necessarily want to bring in other video experts, but it could be people who teach them how to market themselves on like Instagram stories or Reels or YouTube. So they're going to be attracting that right audience. You can kind of build a theme around it. And then, other things that go into designers standing out is like their process. So you could have a day about, making a unique design process that stands out. And there's experts that come in and teach things like onboarding and offboarding and the different parts of the process. You could even have your own session on that day that like teaches how to weave in video to the onboarding process and to the offboarding process to like, increase the likelihood someone's going to rebook or use you as a referral or things like that. It could be like showcasing your design work as like the 3rd day. And again, like video would be a real great way to do that you could have a presentation that day as well, but bringing in people who talk about like an effective portfolio, utilizing video testimonials, like, you kind of zoom out a little bit and think of different sessions that all kind of focus on that goal. And like, as you were talking, I'm thinking of like how that would kind of apply to other niches. And I know there's a lot of other types of businesses where like the designers, their struggle is they need to stand out, like you said, about the sea of people who just make beautiful things. There are other professions out there where their issue is people trusting them. And the ones coming to mind for me are like, again, dentists, you use that.
Yeah.
And my mom works in dentist office, so it's sticking in my mind. But like therapists or different brands like that, like they need people to trust them. Video is an incredible way to do that. So you could have a full event around like building trust for the audience. And I think that would apply for a lot of reasons. People would truly benefit from using video. I think there's always a way to take that step back and tie in those other pieces that let you kind of build out a full event.
That's really good. That's super helpful because I think you addressed it. Like the fear would be like, well, I'm not going to bring on another. As much as I love every video company, I'm not going to have 15 other video companies come on and say like, well, Ryan tells stories and what we think you should do is explainer videos and like onboarding, whatever. But to bring in other experts that aren't that touch, right? So if the goal of the summit would be, here's how to set yourself apart as a graphic designer or web designer so that you can get more clients, take more vacation days, whatever, live the life of your dreams, and the different pieces, like bringing in, a story brand person or, just look at the list of people that I've brought on this show. And, we talk about sales, we talk about marketing, we talk about business operations, we talk about mindset. So like, those are all things that no matter what business you're in, you need, we all need those things, right? Think about the things that you need for your business. Think about, your favorite books or your favorite, influencers online, like what are the things that they teach, and what have been like your biggest epiphanies, and think about the problems that the industry that you are serving. What are those problems? How does video help? And then, Krista, I just loved how you just like having themes and then weaving video, throughout, the 3 days or whatever. It's genius because you're not pushing it. You're just like, this is how people use video when they're onboarding. This is how you can save so much time by making videos. And this is the structure. So if you're going to do an onboarding video, make sure it has these 3 elements in it. Oh my gosh. Here's okay. I'm excited. I did not have a coffee, man, but I feel like I'm just like fired up right now. You do a summit and you can have 50 people, 100 people, whatever, 500, like you could have a lot of people. And you could do it for free just to build your list. That is incredible. Also, Krista, can you talk about paid summits and kind of the structure, and then when you have like 14 other people that you've invited, how can they help both with audience, but then also like if there's like an option to like pay for stuff?
Yeah. So overall, I focus on free events. Now, I can definitely talk about paid, but I'm going to kind of go into the next step of the free event first, and where you make money on that, because, we want to make money when we do big things like that. But yeah, when you host a free summit, like the next step for your summit attendees is going to be buy the All Access Pass, which in and of itself sounds really boring. Like overall, people don't really care that much about ongoing access to presentations, but it's what people expect with summits. So that's just still what we call it. And we're just going to keep going with it. So you present this All Access Pass to them. Typical All Access passes that just have longer access to presentations convert at like 3 to 5%. Not wonderful. It's something. But the method we teach is really making a more meaningful offer for your attendees. So they came to learn how to, make their design business stand out. What other resources from yourself and your speakers can you include in that to make it a really meaningful offer for them, so they can take it and make their next steps easier? So this is really great when you do bring on speakers who have the same audience as your event, because they're able to contribute things that your attendees are like, oh my gosh, yes, I want this thing. You can contribute something related to video, and something that, if you have like a smaller offer or a guide or something, because then they are seeing the value of that because they're paying for it. It's another touch point with you. Your speakers are able to grow their email list more because they're contributing these offers that your attendees are going to get. But more importantly, maybe not more importantly, just as importantly, it converts higher than just giving extended access to presentations. And I guess I didn't really specify. With the free version of the summit, you're typically giving people like short-term access. Like you can watch these videos for 24 hours, 48 hours. So this upgrade option gives them longer access as well as these bonuses. When you add the bonuses, maybe you want to do some kind of live session. Maybe you're doing like hot seats with people to help them, to coach them on where video would like make the biggest impact for them in their business or something like that. Adding elements that are going to help them see the value of what you do, but also just give them great value as well. Those offers we have seen convert for our clients anywhere from 10% to 25%. Wow. The most common range is about 12 to 15, depending on how well the event is targeted. But that is where you have the bigger opportunity to make money right during the summit itself. So that's where, like that first summit I ever hosted, the 16K, that's where that came from. It was just through this All Access Pass. People wanted, basically they wanted the speaker bonuses. They don't care that much about the ongoing access, like I said, but they get the ongoing access. And yeah, it's just a great way to provide more value for them while making money yourselves. And then your speakers can also make commissions on that, because ideally the speakers you're inviting are sharing with their audience. So saying, hey, you can make 40%, 50% commission on any of these things that someone you referred buys is another, just kind of a great perk for them. A lot of the times we see speakers don't necessarily say yes, like because of that. It's for the relationship with you. If there isn't a relationship, it's to get in front of this audience, but that commission is just kind of like a bonus for them. It's a way you can both make money while providing more value to the attendees.
Yeah, love that. And for those of us who already have digital products that can help our intended audience, Or if you have, services like audits or like our storyline workshop or our video blueprint workshop, being able to, as you think about calls to actions and ways for people to engage with you and take that next step, you can literally make money almost on the front end. If you do a paid, summit, it's virtually the same thing, right? You're just paying for people to get access. You do a free summit, you're probably going to get a lot more people to sign up, and then they have the opportunity to upgrade to this all access pass. And then if there's anything else that you want to pitch as being a part of the summit, hey, like for the next, 3 days, I'm doing all of our video blueprint workshops at half off, right? But this is the only time that you're getting that kind of deal. Otherwise, it's $2,500. Right now you can get it for $1,250. You just got to book it within the next 3 days, and we don't have to do it, next 60 days. We need to put it on the calendar. So there's so many opportunities. I mean, just think if you're in a room with 25 people, like, let's just or 10 people, like 10 potential clients. You're in a room, you're doing a summit for 10 potential clients. And for you to be able to explain like how you help people, it's just like gold. It's like how else can you do that unless you're going out to a chamber of commerce, you're going to some networking meeting, and you're hoping that somebody there is interested in video, and you're hoping that like maybe you have a chance to talk to them, and then maybe you say the right things or whatever. But like doing something like a summit, it's like very specific. It's intended so the people that are coming have an interest in video, so you're kind of already like on the same page. You're not having to try to convince people. Man, it just makes sense.
I mean, and I'm like, the thought of people who are experts in video doing summits is also very exciting to me, because a lot of times I hear, well, can I host a summit without being on video? Like, I don't want to record these videos you're telling me to record for my registration page, for all these pages. I love that you get the idea with video. You know how important that is for connection, and you're going to make like, if any of you saw the videos I have for my upcoming summit, you'd be like, oh, come on. Like, just send me your pitches, But like, you have such an opportunity to both connect with your audience in a really strong way in all of these little pieces throughout a summit that video makes sense, but also show off what you do, because like, it's going to look awesome as well. And I just think that's such a great opportunity to make those connections while showing what you do. Like, that's like an added bonus that most people don't get when they host a summit. Yeah, it's like
it's like an added bonus. Inception. That's what I was going to try to say. Like video for video. We did when the pandemic happened. We did a virtual summit, and it was awesome. Like we didn't have much to do, so not only did we get to show off our live stream capability, which was kind of like one of the things that we were very subtly promoting. From that, pandemic, like everybody's at home, we booked significant projects that were live streamed, and we had the summit to show for it. We had multiple businesses come here to our studio to live stream their awards events and end of year, like asking for money, like things. So like doing that again, like back to inception, it was just like, we were showing up, and if the only thing I did was I'm the host and we're gonna, the topic for the summit is like this, it's not even related to video, but just remember, if you're wanting to do your own summit or your own live stream thing, guess what? We're the sponsor of this event. We're the live stream experts. So there's just lots of ways for video people to use this as a way to grow your list and get opportunities that you wouldn't be able to otherwise. I'll also say that I just realized this week. I was looking at our analytics, and I noticed that we keep getting people that are signing up for the wait list. We have a wait list for the summit that we did 2 years ago. It's like, when we're going to do our next one, like sign up, and people are still signing up. And so our list is growing because we have this thing. And if we didn't have it, our list wouldn't be growing in that way, which I just think is like, it's mind-boggling.
Oh my gosh, I love that you brought that up, because like, I feel like the ongoing benefits of hosting a summit are something that people don't think about, which makes sense. Like, you're usually concerned with, okay, what am I going to get out of this right now?
Yeah.
But a cool thing about summits is it does keep paying off. And not just because like now you have this thing people can sign up for, but with the other people you're collaborating with, like the other industry experts you're collaborating with who now know you better, you have relationships with them, they will now send people to you. You have hundreds, thousands more people in your target audience who now have you on the top of their mind for themselves,
Right.
but also for other people. Like it's just this ongoing momentum and sales and benefits. It opens the door for so many collaborations. I know after my summit, like I was just blown away by like people started inviting me to be on podcasts and like do fun things. It's like, oh my gosh, like I'm almost a big deal now. Like I've made it. But there's just so many benefits you don't think of when you go on to host this first summit, and it just continues to pay off.
Yeah. I would say that's probably like one of my favorite parts. All of the people that I invited to be a part of the summit, some of them I had a relationship with and others were like brand new, but all of those connections, right? I'm showing up on video, like reinforcing like, oh yeah, and they're finding out what I do. So not only are we showing up for the target for the summit, but also I'm building all these relationships with other people that know how important it is to grow your business and like things that you need to be doing and things that, so they know that video is important too. So to get more time with them, it's smart.
Yeah, it is smart.
Man, go do a summit. I feel like, what would you say is the big thing that stops people from taking that? Because I feel like what we're talking about is, it seems pretty convincing. I'm convinced. I knew we were going to do this, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to walk away. Like 2023, I'm doing a summit at the beginning of the year. This is annoying. But what's the thing that gets in the way? If there was one big thing that gets in the way of somebody like me wanting to do my first summit or my next summit?
I would say like being overwhelmed, even like considering it and then not taking action on it based on that. And I think people look at a project like a summit and they're like, oh, like that's a big thing to do. And that's kind of as far as they tend to go with it. But I like to encourage people, like, break it down. It's not like you're going to sit down at your desk and host a summit. You're going to sit down and like figure out who you want to host your summit for. Like that's day one. Cool. Check it off your list. Yeah. Day two, maybe you figure out your topic. And it's like, it's just these little steps that if you're growing a business, you already do these things. You write emails, like you figure out the kinds of offers people want. Like you talk to people. It's just a whole bunch of those easy tasks you already know what to do put together in one thing. So I think not breaking down the process and seeing it as those smaller steps is what holds people back, because it is just intimidating. If like even me, like if I was just going to sit down and not have everything broken out into individual tasks and say, I'm going to host a summit, I would be overwhelmed by that idea. Yeah. It's like, I'm going to host a summit several months from now. Here's what I have to do today. Here's what I have to do today to start taking one step towards making that happen. So yeah, I think kind of overwhelm is probably the biggest thing that holds people back.
Yeah, I would agree. Which the very first one I did, I was like, I'm doing it. I remember when I was doing the opening session, I'm like, you guys, like something is going to go wrong. The tech, the internet speed, like, just something is going to go wrong. I appreciate your patience. I'm in this with you. I'm doing everything I can. Like, I was like very forthright with what I was expecting to happen. And it was great. It was fun. It was energizing. It was a decent amount of work, but it was totally worth it. And then we did another one like 2 months after, because I was like, this is like, I can do this and we can do a little bit better. And the goal of the next one was like to actually make some money, not just to like, it was totally free, and I just wanted to do something and reach out to a bunch of people, and everybody was like bored because it was like the pandemic, and they're like, all right, yeah, we'll do this. So yeah, my encouragement is to do it. You have some tools or things, I'm assuming, that can help us get started if we are curious and interested in starting, considering a summit.
Oh yeah, we have all the things. If you need training, if you need templates, if you need tools, we have all the stuff for that. Something specifically I think could be helpful is our virtual summit funnel roadmap. And I think that would be a good starting place, so you can start to look at, okay, if this is my audience, what steps do I need to take to get them from seeing something about my summit all the way through wanting to book me for this service. So our funnel roadmap kind of walks you through those 6 stages of them seeing your summit to being a client down the road. It just helps you brainstorm that. We got checklists, we have do's and don'ts and all of that stuff to help make sure that your summit is positioned well, and then you have all the pieces within it that bring them all the way through that journey.
Awesome. And where do they get that?
Summitbox.co/roadmap.
There we go. Yeah, we'll also put a link in the show notes for that as well. I did think of one other. Probably, I don't know if it's easier lifting. It really just depends on what your vibe is. But we've got a space here, depending on where in the world your production company is. Maybe you don't have your own space, but maybe you could, when you figure out who you want to target, you could go to, let's just say we're targeting web designers. There's a branding agency in town, or there's a marketing agency in town. Go to the marketing agency and say, hey, I want to do this summit, and I would love for you to be in it. You guys also have a really cool space. Can we do it here? And then can we also invite 2 other people I've thought of? And do you have anybody that you might know that you could invite that could also add value to web designers? So now you've just made a relationship with this marketing company you've never really worked with. You're also going to tell them, I'm going to film all of this stuff, and you guys can have the videos when we're done. So you can do whatever you want with the videos. But I want to host it on this website. We can give it to whoever. But if we can do it online and let people get access to it, and we can all promote it, like that would be cool too. That experience, if you're the people that you're working with, not even the intended audience for the summit, like that could be an incredible networking opportunity that could help fill your funnel as well. So there's just one more idea.
I love, that's amazing. And like people seeing you in the kind of space they are in, like, heck yeah, that's genius.
Yes, genius. You heard it here first, folks. I'm going to write that down. Krista said that was genius. Krista, this was so good. She also has, her podcast is super good. A lot of very, very helpful episodes on, the whole show's about like virtual summits. So listen to some of those. Where does the pod, not where does it live? Because obviously wherever podcasts, wherever you listen, but what's it called? What's the name of her podcast?
Yes, I have the Summit Host Hangout podcast. We are like 200 episodes in. So if you just want to go fill your mind with all the virtual summit things, I have got you covered. You can find that at summitinabox.co/podcast, or of course, just Summit Host Hangout on your favorite podcast listening app.
Yes. Thank you, man. I'm glad somebody could say that, because I'm just struggling over here. Krista, this was a joy and tons of info. I'm hoping that as you're listening, you're not feeling overwhelmed. You're just like, this is listen, I've hosted multiple summits. The first one, it was just kind of like, I'm doing it and it's going to be a mess, but I'm doing it. And it's fine. Like, go ugly early. You don't learn until you launch. Done is better than perfect. As you're looking at ways to market your business, create some connections, build trust, man, the summit, that is just such a powerful tool that you should really consider. That I think big picture is probably one of the easier things, unless you're incredibly extroverted like me. And if somebody's like, hey, there's a gathering over there, you could go meet a whole bunch of brand new people. I'm like, oh, I'm there, like gone. If that's not you, then this is a really, really good option to make a big splash. Not just 2 people, but like potentially lots and lots of people.
Oh my gosh, going to talk to a group of people sounds terrible. So yes, if for any of you introverts who are like, oh my gosh, that sounds awful, yeah, the summit is the way to do it, because you can like sit behind your computer by yourself. You just email the people when you have the energy to email the people, and it is wonderful. Like, that's another big question I get. Like, I'm an introvert. Can I host a summit? I'm like, that is perfect. Like, welcome to my world. Yeah. This is for you.
Yep. I love that. Krista, thank you again. So fun. Really, really appreciate you, and excited for all the success that you've had. Thank you for sharing with us today.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. This was great.
All right, my friend, that is episode 308. If you want the show notes, grab those. You can get them at studiosherpas.com/308. We've got links to Krista's stuff, her podcast, the guide that she was talking about. If you're watching this on YouTube or Facebook and you have a takeaway, my question would be, what do you think about virtual summits? You think you might do one? Do you think it could be helpful? And if not, what would stop you? I'd be really curious to know why you'd say, like, that's not for me. That doesn't seem like that could be good for my business. Would love to hear from you. So if you're watching on any of those places where you can comment, leave a comment or shoot me an email and let me know your thoughts. You can email me, ryan@studiosherpas.com. If this was a cool episode, take a screen grab of it right now and forward it along to somebody that you think would appreciate it and get something out of it. I would love for you to share it. That would be really cool. If you want to find us on the socials, we're at Grow Your Video Business. I'm at Ryan Coral. It's Koral. And man, I'm so glad that you came today, and I will see you on next week's episode. I hope, right? Yes? Will you be there? I'll be there. All right, my friend, I'll talk to you real soon. Till then, onward and upward. Goodbye.